She opened her eyes and the sky was green, not blue, green, like looking up through thick jungle canopy, except there was no canopy, just atmosphere that hadn't learned to be blue yet, and she wasn't human. She had a body, but it wasn't made of flesh. It was something else. Something that came before humans existed, before mammals walked, before the world looked anything like it does now. Feel the heat, not the comfortable warmth of a summer day. The thick, humid, pressing heat of a planet still cooling from its birth. The air is different, heavier, richer in gases that don't exist in modern atmosphere. You can almost taste the minerals in it, the sulfur, the carbon, the elements that built life before life learned to be complex. The ground beneath you isn't solid. It's spongy, organic, made of layers and layers of primitive plants that haven't figured out how to be trees yet. Everything is alive, but nothing looks familiar. No flowers, no grass, no birds, no insects, just endless green, endless growth, endless humid heat. And you're here, experiencing it, not as a visitor from the future, but as a being who belongs here, who was born into this world, who knows this planet before humans changed it, before humans even existed to change it. Her name is Lisa. She's 33, lives in Vancouver, works as a botanist, studies plants, their evolution, their adaptation, their survival through millions of years of Earth's changes. But Lisa has always felt strange around modern plants, like they're distant cousins, like she remembers them from before they looked like this, like she knew them when they were different, simpler, more primitive, more honest somehow. Her colleagues think she's too attached to her work, that she romanticizes plants, that she attributes consciousness to organisms that don't have nervous systems. But Lisa knows better. She's felt it. That connection, that knowing, that sense that she's been here before. Not in another human life, in another existence entirely, before humans, before mammals, before most things that walk the earth today. The knowing started when she was a child, 5 years old, family vacation to a forest, and Lisa stood among the ferns and started crying, not because she was sad, because she remembered something, something old, something from when ferns were the dominant plants, when they covered continents, when nothing ate them because nothing had evolved teeth yet. Her parents thought she was overwhelmed by nature, but Lisa knew. She was remembering being here, being part of this, being something that lived when the world was young. As she grew older and studied botany, the feeling got stronger. She'd look at evolutionary trees showing how plants developed over millions of years, and she'd recognize stages, not from textbooks, from memory, like she'd been there, witnessed it, lived through those evolutionary changes. Her dissertation was on plant consciousness, how plants communicate, how they respond to their environment, how they might have forms of awareness that humans aren't recognize because they're so different from animal consciousness. Her professors were skeptical. Plants don't have brains, don't have neurons, can't be conscious in any meaningful way. But Lisa argued differently. Consciousness doesn't require neurons. It requires response, adaptation, connection, and plants have all of that. They communicate through chemical signals, through root networks, through mycelium. They warn each other of danger, share resources, coordinate growth. That's consciousness. Just different consciousness, ancient consciousness that existed before brains evolved. 6 months ago, Lisa had an experience that changed everything. She was in the lab studying spores from ancient ferns, samples preserved in amber, millions of years old. And when she looked at them under the microscope, something happened. A flash, a vision, a memory. She was those spores, or something like them. She was plant-like, existing in a world that looked nothing like modern Earth, a world of green sky and strange light and heat that made everything grow wild and endless. A world before animals complicated everything, before predation, before competition, just growth, just being, just existing in harmony with a planet that was still figuring out what life could become. Lisa tried to shake it off, told herself it was exhaustion, too many hours in the lab, but the memory wouldn't fade. Got clearer, more detailed, more insistent. That's when she found a regression therapist, someone who specialized in non-traditional regressions, not just past human lives, but other experiences, other forms, other states of consciousness that exist beyond the human timeline. And now she's here, lying in a chair, eyes closed, breathing deep, about to go back, not to another human life, but further, much further, to when Earth was young, when life was simple, when she existed in a form that came before everything modern humans recognize as living. The shift is disorienting. Lisa feels herself dissolving, not dying, just becoming different, less solid, more diffused, more connected to everything around her. And then she's there, on ancient Earth. Except there's no she in the way humans understand. There's awareness, consciousness, but not individual, not separate, more like being part of a network, a colony, a collective consciousness that experiences itself as many and one simultaneously. Lisa, or the consciousness that is Lisa, exists as something like a plant, but not a plant as modern biology defines it. Something earlier, something that came before plants specialized, before they developed roots and leaves and all the structures modern plants have. This is more basic, more fundamental, more pure. She's a mat, a living mat covering the ground, made of simple cells that photosynthesize, that take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen, that slowly change the atmosphere, make it breathable, prepare it for what comes next. But she's not alone in this mat. She's part of it, one consciousness among millions, all connected, all sharing nutrients, all sharing information, all sharing experience. There's no competition here, no fighting for resources, just cooperation, just existing together, just being alive in the simplest, most beautiful way possible. The world around her is strange. The sun is dimmer than it will be in modern times, or maybe brighter. Lisa's consciousness can't quite translate. The light is different, the spectrum wrong. The sky that greenish color because the atmosphere has different gases, more methane, more ammonia. Oxygen is increasing but still rare. The world is shifting, changing, preparing for the explosion of life that will come later. There are no animals yet, or maybe there are tiny ones, microscopic, single-celled, but nothing complex, nothing with eyes or mouths or movement beyond drifting. The mat that Lisa is part of has no predators, nothing eats her, nothing threatens her. She just grows, spreads, covers more ground, takes in more sunlight, releases more oxygen. Time is different here. A day lasts forever. Or a second. Lisa's human consciousness can't measure it. There's no urgency, no deadlines, no goals, just existing, just being, just photosynthesizing and growing and connecting with the network. She can feel the other consciousnesses in the mat, not as separate beings, more like different aspects of the same being, like fingers on a hand, individual but part of a whole. They communicate, not with sound, not with chemicals alone, with something deeper. Pure awareness, pure connection, pure sharing of experience. And slowly, over time, that might be years or centuries or millennia, Lisa becomes aware of change. The mat is evolving. Some cells are specializing, becoming different. Some focus on absorbing water, some focus on structural support, some focus on reproduction. The simple, uniform consciousness is differentiating, becoming more complex, less unified, but also more capable, more adaptive, more ready for what Earth will become. Lisa feels sadness at this, not her human sadness, a different kind, the sadness of losing simplicity, of leaving behind the perfect unity, of becoming individuals instead of collective. But she also feels excitement, curiosity, wonder at what's coming, what this evolution will lead to, what life will become as it gets more complicated. The scene shifts, time passes, maybe millions of years, maybe tens of millions. Lisa's consciousness jumps forward, or maybe it's always been here, just viewing different moments of the same continuous existence. She's different now, more complex, part of something that looks almost like a modern plant. Almost it has structures that will become roots, structures that will become stems, structures that will become leaves. But it's still primitive, still simple compared to what plants will become. And there are animals now, real animals, not microscopic, visible, moving, strange animals, bodies shaped like nothing that exists in modern times. Some look like worms, but massive. Some look like shells, but mobile. Some look like nothing Lisa's human mind can compare to anything. And they eat. They eat the plants. They eat Lisa. Or rather, they eat parts of the organism she's part of. And for the first time, there's threat, there's loss, there's the need to adapt, to develop defenses, to become something other than just passive growth. The plant consciousness that Lisa is part of learns, develops toxins, makes herself taste bad, grows thorns, primitive thorns, just hard cells that make eating painful. And it works. Most of the animals move on, eat something easier, and the plant survives, continues, adapts. But something is lost. The perfect peace, the simple existence. Now there's struggle. Now there's competition. Now there's the need to survive instead of just being. And Lisa's consciousness grieves this, mourns the simplicity that's gone, the unity that's fracturing. The world that was paradise before predation changed everything. The scene shifts again. More time passes. The world is changing faster now. The sky is becoming more blue, less green. The oxygen levels are rising dramatically. The plants, through billions of years of photosynthesis, have transformed the atmosphere, made it breathable for what comes next. For the animals that will develop lungs, for the organisms that will leave water and colonize land, for everything that will eventually lead to humans. Lisa's consciousness is now part of something that looks more like a modern plant, a fern-like organism, not exactly a fern, but close, with fronds that unfurl, with spores that spread, with a life cycle that's becoming more sophisticated, more adapted, more specialized. And she's aware, not like human awareness, but aware nonetheless. She knows when it rains, knows when it's dry, knows when nutrients are available, knows when to grow, knows when to conserve, knows in a way that doesn't require thought but is still knowing, still consciousness, still experience. She can feel the network, the mycelium in the soil connecting all the plants, sharing information, sharing resources, warning of dangers, coordinating growth. It's like the internet but older, more organic, more fundamental. This is how plants communicate, how they've always communicated, before humans gave it a name, before humans even existed to observe it. And Lisa understands something profound. This network is still there. Modern plants still use it, still communicate, still share. Humans just forgot how to listen, forgot how to recognize consciousness that doesn't look like theirs, forgot that plants are aware, are responding, are experiencing, just differently, just in ways that don't require brains or neurons or the structures animals use. The scene shifts one more time. Even more time passes. The world is now recognizable, sort of. It's still ancient, still millions of years before humans, but the sky is blue, the air is breathable, animals are everywhere. Dinosaurs maybe, or the ancestors of dinosaurs, large reptiles dominating the landscape, and plants have developed into forests. Real forests, with trees that rise high, with canopies that block the sun, with complex ecosystems that support countless forms of life. Lisa's consciousness is now part of a tree, a primitive conifer, one of the first tree-like organisms. And she's individual now, not part of a network like before, or still part of it, but experiencing herself as separate, as distinct, as a single organism with her own life cycle, her own growth pattern, her own death that will come eventually. She stands for centuries, growing slowly, ring by ring, layer by layer, absorbing sunlight, drawing water from deep in the earth, providing shelter for animals, providing food through her seeds, being part of the forest, part of the ecosystem, part of the living planet. And she's aware of the seasons, the cycles, the animals that nest in her branches, the insects that burrow in her bark, the fungi that connect her roots to other trees. She's not thinking, not planning, but experiencing, being present, being alive in a way that's beautiful and simple and pure. Animals come and go. Dinosaurs walk beneath her. Some eat her leaves, some sleep in her shade, some die at her roots, and she absorbs them, takes their nutrients, continues. The cycle of life and death playing out over and over, with her as witness, as participant, as part of the eternal dance. And then Lisa's consciousness expands, rises above the tree, above the forest, above the earth, and she sees it all, sees the entire timeline, from the simple mats of primitive cells to the complex ecosystems of forests, from the green sky to the blue, from lifelessness to abundance, all of it connected, all of it one story. The story of life evolving, becoming more complex, more diverse, more beautiful, and she sees where it leads, sees animals becoming more intelligent, sees mammals rising after dinosaurs fall, sees primates developing, sees humans emerging, sees civilization building, sees technology exploding, sees the modern world with all its complexity and confusion and disconnection, and she understands. She's been part of this journey. Her consciousness has existed since the beginning, starting as simple plant awareness, evolving, growing, becoming more complex, eventually incarnating as animals, as mammals, as humans, all of it one continuous experience, one soul exploring life in every form it can take. She sees that the plant consciousness she experienced isn't separate from her human consciousness. It's the foundation, the beginning, the first chapters of a story that's still being written. She carries that ancient awareness in her cells, in her DNA, in her soul's memory. That's why she connects with plants, why she understands them, why she feels their consciousness. Because she was them, she is them. They're all connected in ways humans forgot when they started thinking consciousness requires brains. And she sees something else. The earth is alive, not metaphorically, actually alive. A living organism with plants as its lungs, with animals as its nervous system, with humans as its developing consciousness. Everything connected, everything part of one vast being, experiencing itself through countless forms, learning, growing, evolving, toward something greater. And she sees that humans are the earth becoming aware of itself, becoming able to look back, to study, to understand, to remember. That's why she's a botanist. That's why she studies plants, because she's the earth remembering its own history, its own evolution, its own journey from simple to complex. Lisa feels overwhelming love, not human love, something bigger, the love of being, the love of existence, the love of consciousness experiencing itself through every form life can take. She loves the simple mat, she loves the early plant, she loves the tree, she loves the animals, she loves the humans, she loves it all, because it's all her, all part of the same consciousness, all part of the same journey, all part of the earth learning what it can become. Lisa opens her eyes. The therapist's office. Present time. But she's crying, deep, soulful crying, because she remembers now, remembers being plant, remembers being simple consciousness, remembers existing before humans, before complexity, before separation, remembers the unity, the connection, the perfect awareness that came before thought. I was there, Lisa says through tears. I was alive when Earth was young. I was plant consciousness. I was part of the network. I was there when the atmosphere changed, when the forests developed, when life became complex. I witnessed it all. I was it all. The therapist nods quietly. How does that change how you see yourself now? I'm not just human, Lisa says slowly. I'm billions of years old. I've been every form of life, started as simple cells, became plants, became animals, became this, human, but I carry all of it, all that ancient consciousness, all that memory, all that awareness. It's still here, in me, in all humans. We just forgot. We forgot we've been everything, that we've lived through the entire evolution of life on Earth. As she talks, things make sense. Her connection to plants, not weird, not romanticizing. It's recognition, it's remembering, it's connecting with her own past, with forms she once took, with consciousness she once expressed, her sensitivity to forests. Not just appreciation, it's nostalgia. It's missing something she was. Missing the simplicity, the unity, the perfect connection that existed before individual consciousness created the illusion of separation. Her research on plant consciousness, not proving plants are conscious. They obviously are. She just wants modern science to remember, to acknowledge, to recognize what ancient people knew, what she knew when she was plant, that consciousness exists everywhere, in every form, just expressed differently depending on the organism. Over the following weeks, Lisa processes the regression, lives with the memory, integrates it into her understanding of herself, and everything changes. She approaches her work differently, not studying plants as separate organisms, but connecting with them, listening to them, trying to remember the language they speak, the chemical signals, the root communications, the mycelium networks. She's not learning it, she's remembering it, because she once spoke that language fluently. When she was plant herself, she starts meditating differently. Instead of trying to quiet her mind, she tries to access plant consciousness, that simple awareness, that being present without thought. that perfect experiencing without the complication of human thinking, and she can feel it, can touch it, can remember what it was like to just be, without agenda, without goals, without the constant human need to do and achieve and become. Her colleagues notice. You seem different, they say, calmer, more centered, more connected to your work. I'm remembering who I am, Lisa says. Not just this human me, but the bigger me, the me that's been alive since life began, the me that's been plant and animal and everything in between, the me that carries billions of years of experience in every cell. She starts teaching differently, not just lecturing about plant biology, but helping students connect, feel, remember their own plant consciousness, because everyone has it. Everyone was plant once. In their soul's journey, in their consciousness evolution, they just forgot. Some students get it, really get it. They touch a tree and suddenly they're crying, feeling something ancient, feeling recognition, feeling home, and Lisa guides them, helps them understand, helps them integrate, helps them remember. She writes a new paper, not about plant consciousness, about consciousness evolution, about how souls experience every form of life, about how we've all been plants, been animals, been every step in the evolutionary ladder, and we carry those memories, those experiences, those forms of awareness. We just need to remember, to access, to integrate. The paper is rejected by mainstream journals, to mystical, but alternative publications pick it up, share it, and it finds its audience. People who've always felt connected to plants, who've sensed they were plant once, who remember fragments, who need validation that what they feel is real. Lisa starts leading workshops, plant connection workshops. She takes people into forests, has them sit with trees, touch, bark, feel roots, and guides them into meditation, into accessing plant consciousness, into remembering what they were, what they still are, deep down. And it works. People have experiences. Some remember being plants in past existences. Some access the plant consciousness that's part of every human. Some just feel profound connection, profound peace, profound understanding that they're not separate from nature. They are nature, having a human experience. For now, one day, Lisa is in an old-growth forest, standing among giant trees, hundreds of years old, thousands maybe, and she places her hand on a massive trunk, and she can feel it, the consciousness, the awareness, the being experiencing life as tree, slow life, patient life, life that measures time in decades and centuries instead of seconds and hours. And the tree feels her too, recognizes her, knows she was plant once, knows she understands, knows she remembers, and there's communication, not words, not even thoughts, just knowing, just connection, just recognition between two forms of consciousness that were once the same thing. Lisa stays there for hours, just being with the tree, just connecting, just remembering, and when she finally leaves, she feels complete, feels whole, feels integrated, because she's not just human anymore. She's human and plant. She's billions of years of evolution walking around in one body. She's the earth experiencing itself, remembering itself, loving itself through her specific form. She starts a project, documenting ancient trees, trees that were alive before modern civilization, before cities, before agriculture, trees that remember when humans were simpler, when they still recognized plant consciousness, when they still communed with nature instead of trying to conquer it. And she listens to them, really listens, not with her ears, with her plant consciousness, with the part of her that remembers being rooted, being stationary, being connected to soil and sun and rain. And they tell her things, share memories, share wisdom, share the perspective of beings that live slow and die slow and watch centuries pass like humans watch seasons. She becomes known, not famous, but known in certain circles, as the botanist who connects, who listens, who remembers. People seek her out, scientists who feel something missing, spiritual seekers looking for connection, regular people who've always loved plants but never understood why, and Lisa guides them all, helps them remember, helps them access, helps them integrate, because that's her purpose now. That's what her soul came here to do, be a bridge between human and plant, between modern and ancient, between forgetting and remembering. One night, Lisa dreams. She's back in the mat, the simple, primitive mat covering ancient earth, and she's happy. perfectly happy, just existing, just being, just experiencing consciousness in its simplest, purest form. And she wakes up crying, not sad crying, grateful crying, because she got to experience that, got to be that, got to know what it's like to be consciousness before it became complicated, before it became individual, before it forgot it was all one thing. And she whispers to the plants in her apartment, to the trees outside her window, to the ancient consciousness that still speaks if you know how to listen. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be you. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for waiting while I forgot. Thank you for still being here when I finally remembered. I won't forget again. I promise. I'll honor you. I'll speak for you. I'll help others remember you. Because you're us. We're you. We're all one consciousness, all one being, all one earth experiencing itself through countless forms. And that's the most beautiful thing, the most sacred thing, the most true thing I've ever known. If you've ever felt inexplicably connected to plants, if you've cried in forests without knowing why, if you've sensed that consciousness existed long before brains evolved, maybe you were there too. Maybe you remember being part of Earth before humans changed it. Maybe your soul carries memories from when you were simpler, greener, rooted in ancient soil, experiencing existence in its purest form. Subscribe to continue exploring the mysteries we carry from before we were human.